Hey, Mike with D2D Millionaire here. And are you letting silence be your friend or your enemy in your sales process? And one thing that a lot of sales reps make the mistake of is they don't use silence to their advantage, they use it to their disadvantage. So, what does that mean? Well, basically, they're pausing and creating silences where there shouldn't be. So, one common area this happens is in your intro or your initial greeting when you're talking to a prospect and you're approaching them. So, your approach should only be about 30 to 40 seconds, and it's going to consist of your intro, who you are, an icebreaker, and then asking a closing question. So the icebreaker can be somewhere throughout that. It doesn't necessarily have to be in that spot, but you want to do that to start building rapport as well. But when you ask a closing question, that's when you want to have silence. You don't want to seek approval from your prospect. Let's say you're getting really good now at your intro, you're getting good at icebreakers, and instead of just continuing through your initial greeting, you're just pausing for random points, and it's going to give the prospect an opportunity to kind of interject. It could create an awkward silence, and you don't want that to happen. So that's using silence against you. If you want to use it for you, you want to use silence when you're asking closing questions. So again, if you ask an alternative close, you give them two options. Maybe you say, would you like to get started with our service this afternoon or get started tomorrow? That's when you're silence. You let silence, that awkwardness, work in your favor because you ask them a question and now they're supposed to respond. That's what's normal. So again, if you're asking the right closing questions, you ready to get started with our basic package today or our deluxe service? Then you have that silence. That silence is going to work for you in that instance versus work against you. So pauses can be okay if you're using them at the right time, but just be consciously aware of when you're using them. Keep your intro compact, 30 to 40 seconds, and don't be using pauses in there because it can throw things off and set yourself up for failure. So again, use silence correctly. Hopefully you guys got value out of this video. If you did, feel free to comment and share. And if you are in pest control marketing, pest control sales, definitely head on over to d2dmillionaire.com. You can enter your name and email and get one of our free training videos on how to overcome the 8 most common objections in pest control sales. So learn how to overcome things like, I need to think about it, I can't afford it, I don't have pests right now. Overcome these common objections, and again, go to d2dmillionaire.com, enter your name and email for access to that free training. But appreciate your time. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.